Alright, all you three-letter high-scoring champions out there, or numbers depending on your preference, welcome back to the Indy Radio Arcade. And we talked it over with the maestro and decided that the first game for the month of Extreme shall be Postal 2 for a video game story. And if my memory serves me correct, that should be on episode 316. I said 316, maestro. 36. Oh, I get the joke. You're trying to be like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Real funny. Ha ha. But besides the maestro acting like one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, I think it's time for us to put your high scores on high display along with some indie games along the way for another edition of the Indy Wall of Fame. And the first game that we have up comes from the developers Dev Orange with their game Epic Pure. Or Epic Pure? No, we'll go with the first one. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of not only Good Burger, but a little hint of that one restaurant game I played back in the day. I would have said Cooking Mama, but I don't think they had a orange soda machine in the background for it. So yeah, definitely Good Burger. And here's hoping in the near future for this game they allow you to create your own cool burgers that actually be rated by the food critics. You know, besides the ones that you have to create according to what they say. And apparently, according to the maestro, you can create your own burger. Well, one with ice cream on it? Now he says I'm going too far. And besides weird burgers that I got a feeling that I will call a Wonka burger if I'm able to create it during that game with those ingredients that we mentioned earlier, the next game that we have up comes from the developers Team Chex Quest HD and Flight School Studios with their game Chex Quest HD. And if you're wondering, it's based off the snack mix food of Chex. And this game reminds me of something that would be on NabiscoWorld.com if Nabisco was behind Chex. Now, I don't know if they are, I might be wrong, but yeah, if it was, that would be on the website. This game right here would be on it. And here's hoping in the near future, besides getting a chance to use laser beams to take out Martians and even remote control devices to pick up Chex Mix boxes, they also have a remote that actually allows you to control a couple of the space aliens that try to take you out during this game. Cause I got a feeling whatever the world that wind-up phaser blaster that one Chex Mix soldier has will not be enough to take him out. And according to the maestro, it actually does, but still, I would like something to control them so they can fight amongst themselves so I can recharge that thing. Cause look at the size of it. It's gonna take a while to recharge, I know it is. And besides weapons that I got a feeling that may need double, triple, or maybe even size D batteries if necessary to operate, comes from the developers Visumia Games, or Visumeka Games? You know, we'll go with the second one with their game, Vote Patrol. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of Watch Dogs, Robotron, and a little splash in there of Driver. Yeah, you know, one of the sneaking around missions without getting caught by the cops. And here's hoping in the near future for the said game is that they have a multiplayer function so you can play a little bit of cops and robbers with your friends as they try to sneak their way past you and you zap them on command if they get caught. Cause I got a feeling that would be pretty fun to do, especially with the maestro, cause he can't outmaneuver me in racing games, or in games involving cars. Don't know why, but he has bad skills with that at least. And besides Maestro's bad driving, and speaking of driving folks, the next game that we have up comes from the developers Ming Games. Nice developer name, by the way, with their game Vaporwave Road VR. And this game automatically reminds me of not only a combination of the off-air segments from Adult Swim, but a little hint of that one lo-fi YouTube channel that always plays cool music for you to actually study to, and even reminds me a little bit of myself driving during an early Sunday morning listening to lo-fi music. Yeah, really does. With the exception that there's no colorful trees and I guess that's fruit bouncing around in the background. No, that doesn't happen when I listen to music. Wish it did, but it doesn't. And here's hoping in the near future for this game, with the fact that you're listening to the music they have, you can actually import your own cool classic music to listen to while you travel down these beautiful roads in a car that sort of looks like the car from Back to the Future, or at least the car from Judge Dredd. And according to the maestro, you can add your own music to it. Nice! Now, here's hoping you can also add your own roads, or actually customize your own roads to drive through with each song. Like the roads change up with the songs to match with the beat. And according to the maestro, not too entirely sure if that could happen. Well, here's hoping it can. And the last but not least game that we have up for this week comes from the developers Stephen G. Chin with their said game, Golden Moon. Nice. I like the name of the title of the game and the fact that they have a moon wrapped around the G for the title as well, which is pretty cool. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of not only Lara Croft, Legends of the Hidden Temple, Mummies Alive, and a little splash in there of Uncharted and The Mummy as well. And here's hoping in the near future, and Maestro's starting to moan and groan, but come on, in a temple like this, with a whole bunch of crazy creatures, I'm hoping that they give you a grappling hook to use, just in case you fall into a pitfall or a trap of any type that is in this temple. And even though that you're groaning about that, Maestro, let's see if you survive without a grappling hook in an ancient Egyptian temple, especially with that spike pit trap I just saw go off in one of the pictures. And even the pit and the pendulum thing they got going on over there. You're gonna definitely need a grappling hook. And with Maestro's groaning of my over-obsession with grappling hooks in video games, folks, I think it's time for us to go ahead into the high scores from this week from the Twitter page of @highscore. And the first high score that we have up comes from Retro Danart with his said high score of 69,382 during the arcade classic game of World Rally. And Rally spelled with a W-R-A-L-L-Y. Did they do that? Well, besides dragging out that joke, folks, the next high score that we have up comes from Frankie with his high score of 1,459,360, a part of the ZX Spectrum game of Bomb Jack. Is he related to Bomberman in any way, shape, or form? No? Alright, moving along to the next high score. And the next high score that we have up comes from Omar Gettin with his high score of 4 minutes 29.32 seconds on the Crash Team Racing course of Coco Park under single hard difficulty with 7 laps, a part of the PSX game of Crash Team Racing. I forgot to mention it was for the original PlayStation, not the remake version. Right. And to continue with his high scores in racing games, folks, Omar Gettin once again with his high score of 2 minutes 17.77 seconds in the classic N64 game of Mario Kart 64 on Koopa Troopa Beach under 100cc difficulty, which is actually one of my favorite ones to do. And the next high score that we have up comes from Bam Mies with his high score of 1,820, a part of the Atari 7800 game of Armor Attack 2 under medium difficulty. Next high score that we have up after that, which comes from what appears to be a home run derby of sorts, comes from Jess with his high score of 5 under the classic arcade game of Baseball Stars 2. And according to the maestro, that might be the high score that he got from actually beating an opponent, a high score of 5, not a home run contest, which it was. Anyway, next high score that we have up comes from, once again, Retro Dan Nort with his high score of 161,500, a part of the arcade game of Haunted Castle, which sort of looks like Wolfenstein, or no, not Wolfenstein, more or less Castlevania. I think they even have the guy who uses the whip in the game that I keep forgetting the name of. But before we go any further with that, folks, next high score that we have up comes from none other than S. Baz with his high score of 240 during the classic Nintendo game of Jurassic Park, a part of the Game Boy series. Or the Game Boy Advance in this case. Next high score that we have up after that comes from Larquay with his high score of 67,230, a part of the Activision anthology game of Laser Blast under Game 1B. And the last but not least high score that we have up for this week, and yes folks, this one's a big one, comes from the gamer Speedy4759123 with his high score of 18,476,710, a part of the PS4 game of Pinball Arcade, Scared Stiff. Now, I thought Ernest was going to be involved with that because he was scared stupid, but I was wrong. And if you guys want to check out any other cool high scores that are currently coming through the Twitterverse by the boatload as we speak, you can head on over to the Twitter page of one man only known as @highscore, or head on over to their website known as highscore.com to win cool prizes for your high scores. And like we say all the time around here, folks, for any part of the show that we mention high scores for, is a fair trade. And the new high score as of this week on the top of the leaderboards comes from none other than Speedy4759123 with his high score of 18,476,710, a part of the PS4 game of Pinball Arcade, Scared Stiff. And if you guys want to check out any other cool and awesome games that we mentioned for this week that's coming in from the Steam machine via the cargo ship, cargo plane, or subterranean train that is currently rumbling beneath your toes, you can head on over to the store.steampower page, only known as store.steampower.com, and just click ever so lightly on that upcoming button, as well as clicking on that Indy button as well, to check out a whole bunch of cool and awesome games that will definitely brighten up your Saturday afternoon, morning, evening, or night, despite the lights being on by natural power of the sun. It may be brighter than the sun according to the maestro. Nice! So wear your shades. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back to this music one more time. And when we return, we'll be back with the $64,000 question for this week, right after a word from our sponsor. So don't run out on the bonus round just yet, folks, and stay tuned.